Antarctica, the land of mysteries buried beneath centuries of eternal ice. For over 50 years, there have been frequent reports of strange pyramid-shaped structures, mysterious entrances leading deep into the eternal ice, or unidentified flying objects in Antarctica. Recorded unusual events from the past have raised countless unanswered questions about Earth's coldest land. There are people who have come to Antarctica and witnessed things they shouldn't have seen. Clearly, something is being hidden beneath that we are not yet aware of. Could it be the remnants of a glorious ancient civilization, a secret alien base, or the site of unimaginable research activities between humans and extraterrestrial beings? Horrifying mystery beneath Antarctic ice. Thank you to Helios, a handmade jewelry brand accompanying CD team. Please subscribe to Dark Truth Files channel and support Helios products. Helios offers unique designs crafted by Vietnamese artisans, with a desire to bring Vietnamese products to world-class standards. In November 1995, U.S. Navy pilot Brian and his film crew were flying a C-130 aircraft in circles around the Mary Birdland area at extremely low altitude. This area is located in southern Antarctica, where 15 scientists were working and conducting research. The C-130 approached the Antarctic base from McMurdo Station, several hundred kilometers to the east. The reason for their mission was the mysterious disappearance of the living scientists. The scientists' task was to communicate daily with McMurdo Station and report research results. However, for the past few days, no signals had been transmitted. All research members came from various organizations and countries, and their disappearance would have unpredictable consequences. In reality, the research area had extremely harsh weather but no dangerous predators. Therefore, the possibility of them leaving the base due to attack was almost zero. Even when going outside for missions, they couldn't survive more than an hour without protective gear. The aircraft flew in increasingly tighter circles to ensure no area was missed while searching for the scientists. Despite good weather and optimal visibility, no signs were detected. Finally, the C-130 landed and the rescue team was ordered to check the base. Typically, when a noisy object like a transport aircraft lands, at least a few people would run out to look. But this place appeared abandoned at that time. The scientists had only been brought there 1 week earlier. In the storage, they had enough food, water, and even snacks for over a month. Yet now they had disappeared without a trace. That was strange. Supplies and property showed no signs of theft or vandalism. The rescue team went to the control room, checked the communication equipment, and found everything normal and safe. They had even used that same equipment to report until the day of disappearance. No one was found, nor were any bodies. Everything was normal with no signs of conflict. Please let us know, what should the team do next? Clearly you have no clues about what to do next. The rescue team returned to the aircraft and went back to McMurdo's. Before leaving, the aircraft still flew in circles with expanded radius to make sure nothing was missed. Antarctica is a dangerous place. Every year people go missing and die there. No one is completely safe in such an environment. While people were discussing how to search for the missing scientists, they suddenly appeared over a week later. The rescue team and the C-130 received emergency orders to return to Mary Birdland base. Those who had just returned sent distress signals and screamed that they wanted to get out of there. What happened? In today's world, Antarctica is the most isolated place on Earth. Human research activities have only accessed a very small. Up to 98% of the continent remains unexplored. No one knows what is buried beneath kilometers of thick ice. However, despite harsh conditions and limited access, new discoveries show clear signs of advanced alien technology here. And undiscovered ancient civilization. Many recent satellite images show some pyramid-like structures piercing through the ice layer exposed to the outside. It is believed that the pyramids are part of a network supplying energy to the entire world, similar to the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt. Over 90 million years ago, Antarctica was once a lush and fertile land. This is beyond dispute. However, scientists have also confirmed that this place was frozen and unsuitable for life since 12 million years ago. So, who built those pyramids then? First, look here. This is the Pinkerton map drawn in 1818. The area that should belong to Antarctica is currently blank and has no annotations or markings. This means Antarctica was completely unknown before. It didn't even exist on Earth for people. But there are older maps that accurately depict the geographical location of Antarctica and show it wasn't a massive icy continent like this. According to those maps, Antarctica was a lush, fertile land with vegetation not inferior to any other place in the world. Is this true? This is the strange map from the 16th century that accurately depicted the northern coast of Antarctica before it was covered in ice. It's hard to explain how people could know this continent so well at a time when they didn't. And like many other ancient mysteries, it's believed that an ancient civilization once existed in Antarctica long ago. The existence of a prehistoric civilization in Antarctica began to interest historians after the Second World War. This hypothesis can be supported by medieval maps, along with many studies by geology and physics experts. In 1929, an ancient map drawn on gazelle skin was found, showing geographical locations very different from our current one. The map's author described in detail the northern coast of Africa, the southern part of South America, and the northern coast of Antarctica. The author of that map was named Piri Reis. The Piri Reis map is one of the most fascinating and mysterious artifacts in cartography. It is a world map drawn on gazelle skin by the Turkish admiral and cartographer Piri Reis in 1513. This map astonishes with its accuracy and detail, especially for areas that were almost unexplored or unknown at the time. Therefore, this map has been the subject of much controversy for nearly a century. And as mentioned, the map shows Antarctica before it was directly discovered. Thus, many speculate that this map could reveal the origins of people. It is speculated that this map could reveal ancient secrets of lost civilizations on our planet. Piri Reis was an excellent naval officer and a skilled cartographer of the Ottoman Empire. He was born around 1465 or 1470 in Gallipoli, a port city on the Dardanelles Strait. He started his seafaring life young, first as a privateer supported by the government or essentially a licensed pirate, and later as part of the Ottoman Navy, where he rose to become an admiral. Piri Reis participated in many campaigns and naval battles, such as the conquest of Egypt in 1517 and the siege of Rhodes in 1522. Piri Reis was also very interested in geography and maps. He collected many maps and charts from various sources, including Europe, Arabia, China, and India. He also questioned sailors, merchants, and travelers who had visited many places worldwide and used that information to compile his own maps and books on navigation and geography. In 1513, he completed his most famous work, the World Map, which he presented to Sultan Selim I, the ninth ruler of the Ottoman Empire, as a gift. This map is based on about 20 different sources, some ancient and some contemporary. Unbelievably, he used a partial copy of Christopher Columbus's map, now lost, as well as maps by Portuguese, Spanish, Arab, and Indian cartographers. The map appears to depict South America accurately and in detail, including annotations in Ottoman Turkish and Arabic. This map was praised by Sultan Selim I and kept in the royal treasury for many years. However, it was eventually forgotten until it was rediscovered in 1929 in the Topkapi Palace Library in Istanbul. The map was later studied by many scholars and experts, who were amazed by its quality and accuracy. What's strange is not only how Admiral Piri Reis could accurately map the Antarctic region 300 years before it was discovered, but it also focuses on why the map shows Antarctica from a time when it wasn't covered in ice. In 1949, an expedition of scientists from Britain and Sweden surveyed the Antarctic region through a 1.6 kilometers thick ice layer. The results confirmed that the part of Piri Reis's map showing Queen Maud Land was absolutely accurate compared to seismic measurement data. This proves that this coastline was mapped before it was covered in ice. Coincidentally, the Piri Reis map was also drawn using the method of dividing the globe by meridians and parallels. But according to history, the first map of Earth using this method was drawn by the Englishman John Harrison in 1761. So, did people know the Earth was spherical over 600 years ago? Mainstream science always claims that the ice covering Antarctica's surface is 1 million years old, with the entire northern part of the continent appearing as such before the ice cover. Then it can be inferred that the map was drawn 1 million years ago. But this is hard to explain, as humans didn't exist back then. So, was the Piri Reis map pieced together from the products of a civilization we've never known? In the 1979 book on ancient ocean maps, scholar Charles Hapgood asserted that the Piri Reis map sourced its materials from maps by the Minoans and Phoenicians, peoples with many skilled navigators. The maps they drew were preserved in the libraries of Alexandria and Constantinople. During the Fourth Crusade in 1204, those maps were brought to Europe. According to Hapgood, among them were maps of America, Antarctica, and the Antarctic Sea. It's miraculous that ancient people could draw Antarctica when it wasn't. From the story of the Piri Reis map, a hypothesis emerged that there were lost civilizations along with quite advanced technological levels. In 1953, a naval officer sent this map to the U.S. Army Map Research Center to measure and compare Piri Reis with modern maps. They concluded that this map had absolute accuracy and could only be measured using satellite positioning methods. Thus, the possibility exists that a civilization thrived tens of thousands of years ago, living and developing to a high level before Antarctica was covered by kilometers thick ice. And our current question becomes even more complex: where did they go? Personally, I don't find it complicated. They might still be there, deep under the cold Antarctic ice. And in fact, there's still important evidence suggesting an ancient civilization once existed, or even still exists in Antarctica. That's right, Piri Reis ISN. In 1737, Philippe Boitier published the map named after him, Boitier. The 18th century French geographer drew a very clear and detailed map of Antarctica. But along with it came some controversial information. First, Philippe Boitier's Antarctica consists of two separate lands surrounded by extremely detailed coastlines. However, these maps were considered incorrect because modern Antarctica, after being explored by contemporary scientists, doesn't actually resemble what Philippe Boitier. Even the original name of the Boitier map is quite noteworthy. as Felipe Boache believed it necessary to clearly define this area's position on the world map. Not simply Antarctica, some documents translate the original name of the Boache map from French to English, meaning a topographic map of the southern lands between the Tropic of Capricorn and the South Pole, where great discoveries from 1739 would open a new era for the world. The lack of clarity about the publication year has made many people suspicious of the Boache map. While most believe Felipe Boache completed and publicly released the map in 1737, the map itself records the publication date as September 3, 1739, coinciding with the title Boache gave his own map. To this day, no one has explained the significance of the 2-year discrepancy for the Boache map. Known as a pioneer in professional cartography in the early 18th century, Felipe Boache created a map that clearly delineated the structure of each region, while opening new directions for geological. He combined geological knowledge, in-depth studies with materials from explorers and missionaries of that time, with daily astronomical observations to infer different regions. The resulting maps included some that align with modern research findings, such as the existence of Alaska or the Bering Strait. Yet his approach sparked intense controversy in academic circles, arguing it was too time-consuming to delve too deep into details, requiring complex survey methods that needed many personnel and would be inefficient in cases with too little data. Moreover, not all of Felipe Boache's inferences were correct. S depiction of the Antarctic Sea at the exact South Pole, which doesn't. Felipe Boache somehow accurately depicted Antarctica's terrain from a very ancient time, a period many scientists believe was entirely ice-free. An even more intriguing point is that Boache's map describes a frozen waterway in the Trans-Antarctic mountain region, dividing the Antarctic continent into two isolated lands called West Antarctica. Ancient sea maps. Felipe Boache had collected many secret documents about an extremely advanced civilization that once existed in it, even involving extraterrestrials using terrain-penetrating abilities to draw the maps. Additionally, some scholars believe the Boache map was created with hints from ancient maps. However, the fact that Felipe Boache accurately located it, as well as the position of the underwater plateau where the Canaries are situated, has puzzled researchers. This suggests that there must have been topographic survey data of the plateau from before the glaciers melted and sea levels rose, for Felipe Boache to have successfully sketched the Canaries. While Boache 1.0 was still mysterious, experts unexpectedly discovered version 2.0, with the appearance of French terms on Boache's second map, as if speculating or doubting. Some opinions assert that the Neo-chain documents indicate Felipe Boache seems to be redrawing his inferences about the It is likely that Felipe Boache referenced old maps, along with materials collected from explorers about the phenomenon of giant ice. From there, he believed in the existence of a distant continent. I still hold the view that Antarctica truly was once not an icy land as it is now. This place actually once reached a civilization that might have been even higher than ours. In reality, no one knows exactly the structure beneath the thick ice layer in Antarctica during prehistoric. That's difficult to confirm whether Boache, or even the Piri-Reis map, may not be entirely accurate either. But today, we are not only seeking to uncover the mysteries of Antarctica in the distant. Returning to the story at the beginning of the video. This time, Ryan's C-130 rescue team was to pick up the scientists who had just returned. When they arrived, they saw that everyone had packed all the important equipment and hurried quickly from the plane. The scene was such that if they didn't leave immediately, something would kill or torture them. The scientists boarded the plane in absolute silence. No one exchanged even the smallest word with anyone. Even when the crew asked what had happened, no one was willing to speak up. Another 2-hour flight, the atmosphere was so silent it was suffocating. When the C-130 landed at Enigmatic, the scientists were informed that they would board another plane. But for some reason, they seemed unwilling to move. Someone had to go up to the plane, unbuckle the seat belts, and let each person out one by one. These people must have witnessed something and were severely traumatized. According to our current definition, post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD is a set of reactions that can appear in people who have experienced or witnessed a traumatic, life-threatening event or a threat to their safety. It could be a car accident, another serious accident, assault or sexual assault, crime, war-related events or torture, or a natural disaster like wildfires or floods. Most people who experience trauma will have post-traumatic reactions. However, for some people, these reactions do not subside in a few days or weeks and continue and disrupt their lives. So, our scientists boarded the second plane looking like ghosts, and then they disappeared from there. Their research equipment was stored in a large warehouse and locked very securely. The rescue team was ordered not to enter under any circumstances. All other equipment returning from Antarctica was quickly isolated and sealed until transported elsewhere. At that time, no one knew that the equipment would be transferred to Peterson Air Force Base in Ohio. And if you didn't know, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base has been the storage site for many classified documents related to unidentified flying objects, UFO, and evidence of UFO sightings from 1947 to 1969. Brian's rescue team was called into the command office. There were 2 men in civilian clothes who had just arrived from Washington. They warned the entire crew not to disclose this incident to anyone else, including family. No scientists were missing. There was no rescue mission. Nothing they had just experienced was real. The crew members were completely fine with this. It wasn't the first time they had been forced to remain silent. In that very room, about 10 years ago, a similar thing had happened to Brian. However, that meeting wasn't about the equipment and people on the ground, but about what the crew members saw deep inside the ice. In 2003, an Navy SHIELD team was dispatched from McDonnell Base to the Beardmore Glacier region. According to the official announcement, they were on a routine reconnaissance mission as previous. But in reality, it was an escort mission for scientists to gather more research information and bring them safely back to base. The SHIELD team leader, nicknamed Spartan Owen, made it very clear to all members that this research was extremely important. At all costs, even if it meant sacrificing their lives, the entire team had to protect the science. The escort leader completely agreed, however they felt this was a somewhat excessive. They saw that these scientists were just one among dozens of other scientists collecting information in Antarctica. That was practically true, but not entirely. The escort approached the landing point. They saw the top of a black octagonal structure protruding from the snowdrift. The entire team brought the scientists to a giant door tens of meters high, with strange shapes carved above it. Some people thought it resembled a map of constellations. Additionally, on the door was a triangle with 2 diagonal lines crossing through the center. This symbol has appeared in many ancient cultures throughout history. Reporter Linda Moudenhow, who interviewed Spartan and other witnesses, showed him a photo of a coin. Found in Mexico City in 1993, it had similar symbols. The door tens of meters high and also a meter thick opened extremely easily when the super team stepped in. After the door closed, everything fell silent. The strange silence combined with the room's vast space made everything terrifying. Spartan and his team took quite some time to walk through the entire corridor. The surrounding walls emitted a soft blue light, looking quite eerie. The walls also displayed a series of special symbols, similar When the young scholars in the team asked the guide how large this place was, the answer received was 2.7 million square meters. That's roughly equivalent to the area of a small. The entire space was enormous, buried deep beneath the perpetual ice. And this was just one of many such structures throughout Antarctica. At that time, the giant door was the only entrance leading inside the structure. But many years later, other entrances were found, and the only way to access them was using extremely large submarines. By traveling beneath the ice, submarines could penetrate several kilometers in depth. Unlike the upper levels that Spartan's team had just accessed, but the lower levels were not under human management. They were also required to remain silent. And now some people are sitting here again listening to threats about the consequences of spreading unverified information, including Brian. S mission to rescue 15 scientists wasn't. Since 1980, he and his squadron had made countless trips from Antarctica, usually to supply research stations and transport personnel and goods. Until one day, a special mission changed everything. Brian received news that his crew was to transport as urgently as possible an injured scientist at Davis Station, opposite McMurdo. After McMurdo medical station staff were mobilized, they received orders to depart, crossing frozen mountains, traversing Antarctica. This approach was truly too inappropriate. Brian and his crew flew directly through a top-secret air sampling station established with a no-fly zone. The aircraft violated it and everyone's lives was seriously threatened. However, perhaps what Brian remembered most wasn't the danger of that station, but what he saw while flying. There was a hole about over 90 meters wide exposed in the ice, right next to that top-secret air sampling station. Clearly, there had been many activities occurring at this place over the years. Brian and his crew couldn't explain why there was such a large ice hole in the middle of this place. After safely returning the patient to McMurdo, the crew was summoned to the command office as usual. In the room was an officer they had never seen before. The officer questioned them about the decision to violate the no-fly zone that Brian and... Of course, the crew explained they had no better alternative. If they took another route, the patient would die. The officer began pacing slowly while thinking. Finally, they decided not to pursue responsibility on the condition that Brian's team accept absolute supervision to prevent secret disclosure. Although he never signed a non-disclosure agreement, he still felt uncomfortable about it. He had performed hundreds of missions in Antarctica, seeing UFOs or strange things so often they became completely normal. Brian agreed with the officer and also didn't pay further attention to the giant ice holes until a few months later. Brian accidentally overheard some people talking about the secret air sampling station and giant ice hole during a mission. They were talking among themselves about trips there to meet some special guests. Too curious, he approached and asked them about the tourists according to the sample pattern. Those people not only told Brian that the guests here were not human, but also revealed that the 100-meter wide hole was the entrance to a secret base. There, humans are cooperating with aliens on a special project. More precisely, we're learning everything from them. Sometimes, human scientists themselves have to participate in experiments to assist those people. So, were the scientists rescued from Mary Bird also using their own bodies to start seafood research? If that were true, it's not hard to imagine the horrors they had to endure. Perhaps that's why, as soon as they had the opportunity, they screamed and longed so desperately to return home. Therefore, humans were able to return there to help those people. Perhaps that's why, as soon as they had the opportunity, they screamed and longed so desperately to return home. There are so many strange stories about Antarctica that cannot all be told in a short video. If you want to learn more about one of today's stories, or any other story, let me know in the comments below this video. I know that stories about Antarctica are often vague and lack the authenticity needed. However, as long as Earth exists, humans will continue to explore. Learning new things has never been redundant for everyone. Thank you very much for the companionship and support of the audience. The video time is up. Wang Shan says goodbye and see you. Wishing everyone a good day with your family. Please subscribe to the Dark Truth Files channel to watch the latest.